When you go visit that vision, you embody that.
But let's talk about the faith. Do you believe
you are equipped for your assignment? We as Black women tend to be extra superwoman.
she did that?
Okay, elevators, this is for you.
If we're not practicing what we preach, listen. After you pray, after you meditate,
Take us there.
look at the source.
Yes.
Look at the source of your strength.
Thank you. I believe every day is a great day because this is the day the Lord has made.
Why are we so afraid to use what God has given us? Wow.
It all starts in the mind.
Yes.
Ellen, that was just a little weird, but
Don't be tardy for the party. Come on, Nike, just do it.
That's a whole word, Tammy. That's
the whole episode.
Oh my goodness. I can't hear that enough. You know.
Tell
It's
you.
like,
Oh my
my
God, I
favorite
love it.
show is on.
Oh my
And I
God,
listen to it like I've never heard it before.
that's my favorite part of the podcast now.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
I'm just
Don't
like,
be tardy for the body.
That's a whole episode.
Happy Wednesday, elevators, and welcome to season 2. We'll see how long that keeps going. Episode 3 of the She Elevates podcast. I'm Gail, your personal development coach.
I'm Jessica, your financial strategist.
And I'm Tammy, your spiritual motivator.
And Antoinette is our producer, and we are virtual, as you can see. Omarion is wreaking havoc. But other than that, how are you ladies doing?
I'm doing absolutely amazing. It's the height of tax season. I'm here. I'm here though.
Making it happen, crunching numbers.
How well, look, Gail, we know about, what happens during this time. That was our past life.
I almost forgot.
I
But
did.
it is wonderful. Oh, hey,
my goodness.
with all the snow that came and left, right? It was here once, and we got
Let me
oh
tell
my
y'all.
God. Yesterday, just a little
snowed.
bit.
It snowed in
Alabama?
Alabama. It didn't stick
Okay.
though.
Did stay
It was like little flurries, like.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because I think Sunday, right? It snowed Sunday, and then right after the snow, the rain came. So by Monday, the streets were clear. So hey,
It was
to go.
good. I like that kind of snow too. It snowed. Actually, it did. I think it did a lot. It
A
was
lot.
sleet.
Mhm.
We had sleet, and it was like a sheet of ice all over the ground. But to Tammy's point, this happened all through the night. It evolved. So by the
So
morning,
y'all got every level.
we got
rain,
every level,
sleet,
and then by the
snow.
morning, it wasn't doing anything, and you could just drive to work.
Yep, there you go.
No excuse. Go to work.
No excuse. Okay, so podcast time, I reckon.
All right, let's do it.
Last week we talked about knowing your worth, and which was a lot about self-esteem, I think. You know what I mean? Knowing your worth, and then how you react in different situations, whether it's business or personal, or with your kids or whatever. So that was a pretty good podcast. That was a very good podcast. I'm sorry. So make sure you go back and watch it if you missed it, or watch it again if you caught it. You'll hear some nuggets that I'm sure you missed the first time. And today is very interesting already. We're talking about assets over liabilities. So we were talking, of course, right before the podcast, and it's so funny. I'm going to talk to you about. So we get our theme or our topics before the podcast, of course, so that we can think about it, marinate on it, maybe come up with some life situations to kind of use it as examples. So, I feel like, okay, we on a roll because, early in the podcast, we was like, well, what do you mean by that? What does that mean? So we ain't doing that no more. So now assets over liabilities, I got that. So you'll see. Hang on.
It's still all good.
We ready.
So, right. So let me just say, where I was going was defining it at a high level, being that assets are what you own that puts money in your pocket, and liabilities are what you owe that takes money out of your pocket. And there are items that are on a financial statement that identifies your net worth. And that was as deep as I was going to go with the whole asset liability thing. And just wanted you to know that your assets should be more than your liabilities, period. You should always try to get as much assets as possible, or as many. And when it comes to liabilities, you should only have the absolute mandatory liabilities and then pay them with the money that you get from your assets. And so talking right before the podcast, they were like, "Oh, you talking about money?" That's not what we were thinking about.
Which
so
is
I am
good.
super excited to see how we're going to transition this or mirror this into relationships and people as assets and liabilities as opposed to money. And I'll join the party since I'm like, yeah, go ahead.
Well, Gail, I mean, it's absolutely fine that you gave like the true definition of an asset versus a liability. And like last week, we were speaking about, actually knowing your worth. So now that we spoke about knowing your worth, let's see, have you truly identified yourself and recognize yourself as being an asset to the relationship or to your partner, whoever, or are you actually a liability? Have you experienced any childhood traumas or due to what they call it, family curses or whatever the case may be, have they contribute to you being an actual liability to someone? Or are you in a place where you know who you are now and you can truly give to the relationship, be that asset to the relationship? And I know a lot of times in relationships, people can be like, I bring this to the table, he don't do whatever. Like, it's not all about what a person bring financially to the table. Like, what are you bringing mentally to the table? So we want to, by this being a podcast where we're speaking about elevating each other all the time, we want to prepare you guys for that mental part. What are you doing mentally so that you can be an asset to somebody? So that's the twist we want.
Yes, I love it.
I love it. That's good stuff, because you said a lot in that, Jessica, but just one thing that you said was sometimes we think that we're bringing a lot to the table, but and we talk about this all the time, communication is what you're bringing to the table. And I think, Antoinette, you might need to mute out. I think, we have to think about, is what we're bringing to the table what's needed or what the other person expects? Because sometimes we can be on two different pages and you're like, okay, I'm bringing butter to the table, and the other person be like, but I wanted sugar. So does it matter that you're bringing butter to the table? And I think, communication is critical here. And I love this conversation. So I just want to comment to that before I threw it over to Tammy.
That's, hey, you know what? And I'm loving this because I, Gail, similar to you, I assumed it was going to go down a financial management kind of, finance lane. So I thought I would be different. And I thought, well, you know what about relationships?
You're so unique.
Me and her.
So I'm
like one at a time.
No, seriously. That is so funny because it was like, I'm just going to highlight that even in relationships, right? You can be an asset or a liability, or you need to evaluate and assess, right? The person that you're in a relationship with, whether it's a friend or it's a spouse or whatever. And are they an asset to you or are they a liability? So evaluate that. Think about it. I love it where, Gail, you said, I need butter, but you brought sugar. So here, that's really not what I need. So I really thought that it was important that, but I appreciate from a financial standpoint that we understand, right, the assets and liabilities, because of course, from a, just again, overall financial management, wealth management perspective, we need to understand that. But also from a relationship perspective, we need to understand when someone is an asset to us, and that looks like they're lifting you up, they're encouraging you, but they're also telling you the truth. Because sometimes people that kind of push you, that's not always comfortable, but they really are an asset to you, right? They stretch you and they push you, and they're, even maybe challenge you to do more. So they really are an asset, maybe a little uncomfortable, but in the end, you will appreciate what they did. And then that liability where they're taking, it's like draining. And it's like, okay, I'm always giving, and it's just not
and that was about to be my next thing, is like identifying that. Are you the person who always needing something? You're always being the person who needs something. What are you doing to actually lift the burden off your brother, your sister, your confidant, whoever? What is it that you're doing to alleviate some of the stress that they may be going through? So some of the things, with relationships, whether it's a friendship or whatever, like, hey, good morning, like, you need anything? You good today?
Yes.
Like, it's just simple things like that allows you to be an asset to that person, because that person knows that, you're willing to help them if they need help with something. Or if you that person like, oh, I can't do it today. You can't never do nothing for nobody, but somebody always be there for you. So those are some of the ways you can identify, whether you're an asset or liability in certain relationships.
This episode is brought to you by MWR Financial. MWR Financial stands for Make Wealth Real. With all that's going on in the economy, listen, we need experts who are going to work on our behalf. Experts who know exactly what's going on in this economy and who can actually help you overcome the challenges that we all are facing. If you're needing an expert that assists you with getting your credit scores up, getting your debt down, getting your income up, and most of all, helping you get out of debt, MWR is the company you would want to speak with. Let our experts help you with growing your financial portfolio. Visit www.mwrfinancial.com/She Elevates. Again, allow the team of experts to help you with whatever financial challenges that you're having right now. Again, visit www.mwrfinancial.com/She Elevates. She Elevate cares about your finances as well as we care about empowering as so many women as we do.
I like also how we can take it and even switch it, right? Because we want our relationships to be an asset. We want to be an asset. We want that person that we're in a relationship to be an asset to us. So vice versa, right? We want to be an asset to them. But if we do an evaluation, right, then we can determine how we can improve, or maybe having that conversation, right? So we're not saying you have to cut off. Yeah, we're not cutting off all the relationships, but we're going to communicate now and talk about our needs and talk about, things,
expectations.
That's it. And even do that self-assessment to, like Jessica said, what am I doing? What am I bringing to the relationship? Am I checking in? Do I give? Do I encourage and support and things like that? So I think this is a great opportunity for us to improve, to ensure that we're being an asset, not always just from a financial standpoint, but emotionally, mentally we can do that, but also assessing the people that are in our lives. And again, this whole asset liability, I thought it was really great to look at it from both perspectives.
Absolutely, especially when it comes to the financial piece. You don't ever want to have more liabilities than you have assets, especially in this economy we in right now. That's just a disaster waiting to happen.
Coming from the tax lady, right? But yeah, I agree. It's the same principle, because at the end of the day, you definitely want your assets to be more than your liabilities. I think it takes a certain amount of maturing of being mature, to know that, to be introspective, to your point, to think about, to not just think about ourselves, and not that you're a selfish person, but I think it's just human nature to think about your issues, your drama, your problems, your whatever, and just take others for granted. And so I think you have to be intentional to say, let me be an asset, let me nurture this relationship, and let me check in, like Tammy said, see how other people are doing, knowing that these are their expectations. And if you're having a problem meeting those expectations at that time, then again, it's communication, and have conversations just to let the other person know, to make sure you're always in the asset column.
Absolutely.
That you're always bringing value to the relationship.
And I've quoted before what my mentor told me before, like, if you can't change the people around you, maybe you need to change the people around you. And I know you guys have heard that on several episodes of this podcast, and you're probably going to hear some more, because it's just facts. Yeah, it's just facts. And so some of the people that are around you are actually a liability to you. You're wondering, why you can't get to that next level. Like, I'm right here. Like, every time I find myself right here, something is always pulling me back. And that's because that circle that's around you is more so of a liability, and they're pulling you instead of pushing you. So you want to have people around you that's going to actually be an asset, that's going to push you and help you get to the next level. Because when you got people that are asset to you, they know that you are asset to them. So if they're pushing you forward, you're able to turn around and you're able to pull them to where you at. So you got to make sure your circle is strong, you guys.
I love that.
That's mandatory.
So that reminds me of when I was working. And so my manager, I loved my manager because he was all about collaboration. But one of the things that he did, and it wasn't so much that he told us, but it's what we witnessed. His whole goal in life was to make sure his manager had everything she needed. He had answers before she asked the question. So he was very intentional about being an asset to her. And because we as managers under him saw him do that, then we did that. Also, we made sure that he had everything he needed, for his manager. And so it was a chain effect. But yeah, that was a really great example of making sure you're an asset instead of a liability, because people have things to do, or they have needs or expectations. And if you're an asset, then you're on a winning team. You're a part of the team, right?
Absolutely. I love that chain reaction, right? So that's like your behavior, right? It begins to repeat itself. The people around you will imitate. They'll, actually take on that same, the right people, those assets, right? But going back to the part about maturity, right? It takes time, right, to get there. And that's why we're having these conversations. So hopefully, again, this is time to just kind of take that inventory. Again, I'm looking at it from both angles, right? Am I being an asset, but also about the circle. And then sometimes, really evaluating, because everybody who, let's say, younger, maybe, someone that's kind of needing something from you, they may not be a liability. It may be an investment. Right. So you know what? We're gonna bring it all together.
I love it.
You're looking at it and think about your children, because you have to provide for them, you have to guide them, you're pouring out, you're putting out a lot, but that's an investment, right?
Exactly.
Because you're investing into their future, and then which in turn you're investing into your future.
And that's how you actually create an asset. You got to first invest in it. You got to first invest in it. So you got to, whether that's investing your money, investing your time, whatever the case is, you got to invest in it. And hopefully, it reaps a profit, so it can become an asset.
So, you know what it's like, I was
Return on
reading.
your investment. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tammy.
No, I love that, a return on your investment. And also
Look
it's like
at these financial
we bring it all together.
We planned it like this. I'm
It's
sorry.
all coming
I said in the beginning.
Yeah, there you go. But you know what? You can turn liabilities into assets. And one of the examples was a car, right? You purchase a car, which typically is a liability, right? You got to pay for the car. You got to pay to maintain the car, the insurance and all. But then what if I use that car now to, let's say, drive for Uber or Lyft or something? Now, guess what? I'm getting a return on that. And this car now is an asset. So just like those relationships, hey, I again say, see if you can turn those liabilities into an asset and see how you reap the benefits.
There's some discussion back and forth about whether or not your home is an asset or a liability. And I think it was Dave Ramsey said that it's a liability. But anyway, however you think about it, if you consider it to be a liability, you can, to Tammy's point, quickly turn it into an asset, Airbnbs or office, renting rooms or office. Yep. Office. So yeah, it's just, you have to think about, I think the whole point is to be introspective and make sure that what you're doing and how you're behaving in your relationships or your business or whatever, you're being an asset.
You said a word, behavior, because I had two other aspects of asset and liabilities, and it was your thoughts, your mindsets, and your behavior. Because you have to know, are your thoughts then being an asset? Okay, or are your thoughts a liability? Because sometimes you can be so hard on yourself and you can be so critical of yourself that it really paralyzes you. It doesn't bring you joy. It makes you feel less than. So that's not an asset. But you have to control those thoughts. Come on.
And now you had two more things, but I just had to speak to that because 2022 for me is the year of grace, giving myself grace, because I do set goals and I'm like hard on myself. It's like, you missed it, you need to double up tomorrow. And I've done that for years. And it is very taxing on you. And we're really unforgiving when it comes to ourselves. So self-grace is going to be huge for me in 2022. That's it.
That's how you then, you know what, you're making sure your behavior, your thoughts, right, are assets for you. Because I'm just thinking about behavior. What about like our diet, things that we're eating, right? We can overeat, which in the end, then it makes us sick, and you know, there are health challenges. So that was a liability. While in the moment you thought, oh, this is fun, but in the end,
so good.
What's good? Look, you're gonna go to the end. So is high blood pressure good? Diabetes isn't good, right? So let me just kind of switch it a little bit here and make this an asset. So let me change some of the things that I'm gonna
love that.
Put in my system.
Judging them behaviors, are they assets or are they liabilities?
Because everything starts in the mind. Everything starts in the mind.
Come on, scripture. As a man thinketh, so is he.
Absolutely. Somebody should have, we should have spoke about this. We should have had a debriefing on yesterday because I had some chicken and waffles earlier and it was so good.
Gail said we extend ourselves grace. I'm just saying. See, I like to extend grace because I want grace because I know I want it as well to extend it to me. So.
Absolutely. And Jessica, on the other side of that, ma'am, with your treadmill and your
there you go.
All that hard exercising that you're doing, I think it's okay to have some chicken and waffles.
It's okay.
I'm just saying. You can do that. Look, this is one day, right? You have that little cheat day or that one day that you maybe extend yourself over to the chicken and waffles. You'll come back over here to the fruits and vegetables.
To the vegetable soup.
Yeah, there you go. So there's it. Asset liabilities. We're just saying you can look at this in so many ways, right? I always say there's an A side and a B side. So don't just look at it from one perspective. Just look at it in all aspects. And
absolutely. Asset, left side of the menu.
Okay.
Love it. So I love this conversation, especially about the behavior part of assets and liabilities, relationships, and all of that. So needless to say, my 3 takeaways have everything to do with money.
That's okay. because we need that. We need some money.
It's absolutely
Bring
okay.
it on.
Who don't want to know more about their money?
And I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna still fit. Watch. Bring it
That's
on.
all I'm saying. I was going to say, I challenge you to take that financial advice and put it to relationships, put it to behaviors, put it to your thoughts, because it's the same principle, but it just is where you're applying it. Right?
Yes.
Love it,
yes.
love it, love it, love
So,
it.
and actually, so we'll hear about that later because we got something else first.
What we got?
Come on, Messy.
Come on, Messy.
We here. Well, first, I want to open up, and just for the money, I just got to give a major shout out to how far women have came. First and foremost, have you guys heard that Maya Angelou has become the first Black woman to appear on a U.S. quarter?
Yeah.
Listen, I think they have already started sending them out.
Distribution, yeah.
Listen, can one just fall in my
Ooh.
pocket? You know, like, cause I'm gonna put
You know,
that
we
thing up
gotta-
on
we
the wall.
We got to find somebody who works at a bank so that when they come in, we can tell them to save one for us.
Yes.
And we
Like,
know, we got to get a T-shirt, right? We got to put a picture on the T-shirt.
Yes, that's huge.
That just
I don't
overwhelms me.
think
It
that-
just fills me with joy.
I don't think we've ever been on like any type of currency. So that is freaking huge. So
Awesome.
I had to shout
Amazing.
that out. I couldn't open up being messy with that one like that.
Talk about assets, right?
Asset. Come on. The first Black woman. And I think they're gonna have like a collection of women. But for that first woman to be a Black woman, whoo, that it almost brought tears to my eyes when I saw that, because that just lets you know how far we actually came. So
How we
Shout
are
out to
viewed
that.
as assets to Tammy's
yes,
and that is
yes.
on an actual asset. It's
Asset.
on
Yeah.
money. So they tied all that together. That was just for the problem.
Yes.
I love it. And see how, even in this time where everything is going on, right, how we can find there's so much good that's still happening and something we can celebrate, Oh my God, that's wonderful.
Celebrate the small wins.
Yes.
Small wins. Now,
That's a big one too, though, isn't it?
on to the messy stuff.
Okay, we knew it was coming.
Okay, here we go, y'all.
Right.
Listen, I know everybody has heard about this mess, this foolery that has been going on with, I think his name, Pastor Mike. I think he was trying to implement Jesus. And did Gail put her finger up? I think he was trying to implement Jesus, where he actually spit on his hand, and then he had the nerve to like hog up some more spit in his hand.
Nasty.
And not only did he just spit in his hand, y'all, he rubbed it on his brother's head. And if you saw the video, I guess a little bit of the spit kind of like drew it down to his lip, and he was like, first of all, that's nasty. But he did prove that he was the first pastor that did not care about COVID, apparently. But he stated that he was just trying to make a demonstration, because he did come back and apologize. And if you guys watch Pastor Mike, he can be a little extra. He goes to the extreme with his demonstration. And throughout that demonstration, he was just stating like, people don't like to basically be still, even though when God says it's about to get nasty. And his analogy for it was that Jesus, I believe he stated Jesus spit and rubbed over the blind man's eyes, and the man could see. Clearly you're not Jesus, okay? And that was the most disgusting demonstration ever. Like, and for, I don't know if that was his actual brother or his brother in Christ, whoever, to stand there and let somebody just spit on your face, that was disgusting too, for you to accept it. So, Tammy,
want us to move on because this is so disgusting. I don't even like to hear it. And Jessica went into the details. I will tell you, I heard about that Sunday night. I was like, well, who's Pastor Mike Todd? And then what did he do? And I'm kind of like, the spit pastor, what is that about? And so I was actually on a clubhouse, in a clubhouse room, and it was like this big conversation, and they had a link to the video. And when I clicked, before it came, I said, no, I don't even want that in my eye gates. I'm sorry, I got it. So Jessica, you was giving me all those visuals that I was trying to avoid.
I'm sorry, I had to let our listeners know for the people who did not see it.
Look, all have sinned and come short. He definitely missed the mark on that one. Okay.
Yeah, it was absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, so for me, I didn't see it either. I heard about it and I knew I didn't want to see it. So I haven't seen it, but thank you, Jessica, for that descriptive.
Yeah, you should go and see it. You should.
But I think, it's unfortunate because I think that he was, the goal was to send a message. He was trying to make a point, and we're not gonna we missed all of that because we're not back in Jesus' day where clearly we're okay with you doing stuff like that but we can't handle it. And so, it's unfortunate because I'm sure he had a very good message to share. And
someone was on, a couple of people, I should say, that follow him. I don't know if they actually go to his church, but they were saying how, great of a speaker he is. And they actually were watching the message live, and they said, you guys need to go back and look at the entire thing because there were so many great points, right, that he was given. But that part right there, he went a little too far. So he has this creative way. I want to say, is he a millennial? I think he's like in his 30s, right? He's a young man.
Yeah, I believe that he is. And like I've seen like previous clips, him teaching or whatever, and he did. He some of the examples that he do, they're really good. But I think that was just disgusting. I don't even think that one was disgusting. And he came back and he apologized for it because watching that, I guess doing it, it felt right, but watching it, no way, sir.
Well, let me ask you this. Was the man at least blind and then he could see and crippled and now he can walk? Was there some miracle performed?
In his apology, he stated clearly, I am not Jesus because my brother was bald before I spit on him, and he's still bald. So
I love that he's laughing about it.
So I just think it's not enough, right, that you read that script to us. I think I can understand if you read it to me. I don't really need you to demonstrate. I think sometimes, we go so far trying to make that point and make it plain. I remember there was a lady in the church, she used to always say, make it plain. So I think he was trying to make it plain, and in his efforts to make it plain and demonstrate, bring that to life, but it went way too left.
Also, is that
now I can see.
But then again, was that the point that was trying to be relayed in the Bible, to literally spit in somebody's eye, or was that?
Jesus actually spit. It was mud. It was really about where's your faith.
That's what he actually did, but what is that a representation of today? How does that translate today? He's not saying go around and put mud on. You know what I mean?
You're right. It's about your faith. Will you trust? Right, God, to do some unorthodox? Oh, I'm sorry, Gail. I'm overstepping you. Go ahead. I'll be quiet. Because Gail is going.
So excited.
Because I'm like, because proud to the church. It's like, come on, Mike.
I'm still on West of us because I feel like.
Well, you know what, Gail, I'm sorry, but I wanted you to finish your thought. You were saying, right, that.
And I think his demonstration should have been showing how it relates to today.
Yes. And I was saying that, sometimes I think when we go so far in trying to make things plain without just trusting that you can comprehend, right? This You got it. See, and you know me, I'm sorry, you guys. I was the kind of one that would say, absolutely not. That will not be happening.
If y'all want to tell me something, I can comprehend it. Please don't spit on me.
What you look, hey, yeah, Gail, we would say, but what you're not gonna do. See, at that moment, and sometimes if you guys don't know, these things happen at church. They'll be like, come up here, I want to make it. Come here, come up here for a minute. And you really don't know what's gonna happen, right? And you go up there, and you're part of the message, right? And it's like, okay, turn around 3 times, or run down, and you okay. But no. The minute he went like, and
that's all I'm saying, Tammy, unless he must have had a conversation with him before and he told him he was going to do that, because the minute he spit in his hands and come in my direction,
we're not playing. He was standing there and waiting on it. They definitely had a conversation prior to, because he was standing there waiting on it. But in his defense, the message that he was trying to give was that the fact that we often we make plans to do certain things, and just because something don't go according to how we want it to go, things could get nasty before they get good. That's the message that he was trying to portray, that stand still, even though life can get nasty and disgusting sometimes. Just stand still, because the bigger picture is going to be way better. But in that moment, like I stated, that was absolutely disgusting. And you can just tell me that you ain't got to show
a video.
I think, Gail, I'm going back to, I like what you're saying. You don't have to demonstrate the miracle. You can tell me, how does it relate to me today, right? I got you, Gail. I'm sorry. Sometimes I'm a little slay. Gail, for real, Gail is up there in the heavens. She's in the third heaven. But honestly, I think that's more important, right? So, yeah. But I will tell you, he went viral, right? Look, we're talking about it.
Absolutely.
So many people are talking about it. So hopefully
we're talking about it.
But look, just see, this is my point. We are human, even in the church, even as Christians. We make mistakes, we fall down, right? We're not perfect. But okay, we'll extend grace.
And at some point, hopefully that'll be an asset instead of a liability.
Way to bring that thing home. I love it.
No problem.
That's all I got, lady.
Okay, well, that was good. I love how you started with Maya.
Yes.
Had to.
Went to Mike. Eminem.
He gonna come up with some
Maya and Mike. I'll take Maya. Maya for the win.
Take door number 1.
We play so much.
So we have some execution steps for assets over liabilities. 3 of them. One is to create a positive cash flow, and I love this. Tammy said to make sure that you're bringing assets or value to the relationship. So reduce your tax obligations, eliminate debt, and minimize expenses. This is all about financial on the surface. And the second one is maximize your income. In addition to your 9 to 5, start an online business you can do in the evenings or the weekends, find something you love, and then find a vehicle to monetize it. There's nothing new under the sun. So if you love it, I promise you there's a community out there for it. Number 3 is build or buy an asset. So this is financial, but before I read this, I just want to say, when I read that now in the context of a relationship, build or buy an asset, that is taking courses, taking self-development courses to make yourself better, to give you some of those things where you feel like you're lacking, where you're not bringing value, to help build you up. So what I have is consult a financial advisor about having passive income where your money works for you through investing in stocks, bonds, real estate, or building a business. And the quote of the day is, rich people acquire assets. The poor and the middle class acquire liabilities that they think are assets. And that's by Kiyosaki.
I love it. I love it.
All
I love
right,
it.
all right.
Oh my God, y'all shocked me today.
But you came through.
So although the plan changed, the mission stayed the same.
The mission stayed the same.
Assets over liability.
What'd you say?
Talk about
What's in your bag?
Room and pivoting. I love it. What's in the bag? I love it. What are you bringing to the table? Are you an asset or are you a liability?
That's right. That's right. How about this? I'm gonna make this an asset right now. Ooh. So if you're baking a cake and it seems like it doesn't turn out right, maybe it's a pudding. I don't know.
Or it could be. My mom, I think she did a sweet potato pie one time and she said, this pie don't taste that right. So she put it back in the oven. It was sweet potato bread.
And it was there you go.
It was actually good.
He turned that liability into an asset. There you go.
I will never forget one Thanksgiving, Chef Lonnie had made us some dishes. We had ordered some dishes for Thanksgiving, and we went over and he had made this lemon cake. And he said he had messed it up. So to him, that was a liability. So he just put it out and, we were just eating the little crumbs. It was all broken off. When I tell you that cake was everything and gave me life. Oh, we put in orders. That liability turned into an asset. Yeah.
That's
okay, elevators, turn your liabilities into assets. Okay.
Yes, with the script.
Love it, love it, love it.
I think we
that's all.
Yes, that's it. Done. Oh, time flies when you're having fun.
It does.
Okay, Tammy, take us away with a song.
New music though, we got a whole new vibe for season 2. So
really
but some of us still like elevator.
There she go. Bye, you guys.
Bye. See you next week.